So we're doing the Melbourne Racing Review thanks to topsport.com.au. We're going to have a look at Saturday's meeting, which is ANZAC Day. So we're at Flemington and I'm joined by pro punter Trevor Lawson. How are you, Trev?
Good, Mark.
Yeah, so we've got as I said, it's the traditional ANZAC Day card at Flemington, 8 race cards. We'll have a look at the quaddie leagues, starting with race 5, which is the Flight Lieutenant Peter Armitage handicap over the 1700 for the 3-year-olds. I was just having a look at the top sport market. Rushing Camelot, obviously, is all the rage. $1.90 opened about that and it's barely moved from the Lifeline at $7.50, Betcha flying at $9, and the rest all in double figures. What sort of price have you got Rushing Camelot at?
Got it like about $1.70. Well,
value.
Raw figures made like $1.77. So it was super impressive the other day once it sort of got to the big track at Pakenham. It won by 7 lengths. Basically, he pulled it up. Sometimes it's hard to rate those sort of races because they didn't run exceptional time or anything like that. But the second horse, which I have returning a figure of 47.5.
The second horse out of that race?
Out of that race, yeah. I sort of had him doing 51 the start before, and then he's run since. He's run at Ballarat on the 21st.
Yep.
So he's just run a couple of days ago, and he returned. He got beat 1.7 lengths. So he sort of returned that figure again. So arguably, you could sort of half rate it higher. You could sort of half rate it a bit higher again off that. Yeah, the margins were sort of, was 7 lengths to the second and third horse, and then another 4 lengths to the 4th, 5th, and 6th and 7th horses. So they were sort of in 3 gaps. He's always had a spruik about him. It's not really a race that I sort of want to have a bet in, but I think he's a pretty smart horse. And he's clearly the horse to beat. He's going from here he's on the way to the South Australian Derby. So I'm not sure whether he'll have another run or not before he goes. But he's sort of clear the horse to beat. The Lifeline, it won the race at Caulfield. That actually Rushing Camelot was a late scratching at the barriers. So it actually won that race.
Yep.
It sort of won okay. Betcha Flying, it's had a couple of runs. They had 1 run here 2 starts ago, got too far back in a Group 3, went back to Sydney and sort of got well beat, but it was on a heavy track. Sort of happy to forgive it. But virtually, I think, Russ Camelot will win or, excuse me, barring bad luck, I think it wins. And if it doesn't win, then, sort of anything can win the race.
Odds on, look on?
It's not my sort of go, you could probably get interested at even, maybe, a bit better than even money or something like that. But for me to take $1.80, I'd sort of want to mark it $1.20 or something like that.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah.
All right. We'll move on to race 6, which is the St. Ledger over the 2,800 metres. Royal Crown favourite with Top Sport at $3.50 from Sacramento at $5.50, Chains of Honour and Coin Collector both at $6.50 and Bellex at $7. Have you got Royal Crown on top, and what sort of price you got?
On top, I've got it short odds. I thought it was impressive the other day.
Okay.
It made a move down the side, so it getting this up. Can can see here from the 800 to the 600, it went 12:46. It went a lot faster than some other things. It sort of didn't go. Tarn's Prince went okay. But it sort of went quick again for the 600 and held its ground the last bit. So I thought it was pretty impressive. It was strong to the line. And it was sort of soft on the line. So I thought it could probably even go a little bit better than that. It looks the sort of one right for the trip. Zara rides. Coin Collector had every chance the other day. Does go to Damien Oliver, who's arguably the greatest distanced rider of modern times. He's got a phenomenal record on the horses in distance races. I thought it was the danger. Bellax ran third the other day to Royal Crown. It looked to have every chance. Interestingly, Williams rode it its last two starts, and he's not riding it. He's riding a horse called Tarn's Prince, who did make up pretty good ground. It was sort of back, settled 15th in the run, and then it came wide from about 600 on that day when you couldn't really come wide. So I've sort of improved it a fair bit. It's been a bit of a sort of jockey's merry-go-round. Sort of Oliver's got off it to ride Coin Collector. Williams has got off Bellax to ride Tarn's Prince. So,
anything to read into that?
Not really. I mean, unless you sort of know, Williams might have been pre-booked for it. Maybe they weren't going to run one, so he got picked up another ride. And, unless you sort of know, unless you know the truth, I sort of don't try and guess too much into it.
Yeah,
the other horses, sorry?
You sort of don't know if he's had his choice of them or what's happened. No.
The one Sacramento is well found in the market.
It looks like it opened about $6.50 and into $5.50 with Top Sport.
Yeah, so it was running around last spring. It ran third one day at, it was 60 to 1 Betfair SP behind Adelaide Ace. I've rated it to that run. I got it 30 to 1. I can't get anywhere near the market. And the other one, it's got some figures. I got some figures off Cam, Chains of Honour. It's had two runs in December that were quite good. One day at Hawkesbury rating okay and Eagle Farm okay. But this time in hasn't done anywhere near those figures. Has been running Group 1s. But it's got beat a long, long way. It's sort of not sure about it, if it can run to its absolute. So I sort of rate it just off its best. But, at the current odds, I'm sort of quite keen on Royal Crown. I reckon it's, I think it's the one that definitely run the trip. It was strong, to say. It was strong the other day and happy being on it. And
it looks like there's a bit of value in there. So we'll have a look at race 7, which is the wing commander, Ian Bales, if I've got my army ranks correct. Over the 1,000 metres, so down the straight. So the Inevitable with Top Sport is favourite at the moment at $3 and had a bit of money come for it by the looks of it, from All Too Royal at $4 and Esperance at $6.50. That's about the story of it. The rest of the market's $14 and up. Are those the three that you've got round about the mark?
I've got the Inevitable and All Too Royal equal favourites, but longer than the market for Malibu Style.
Right.
And then Esperance.
Yeah, so Malibu Style's $14 in the market, Esperance $6.50.
So it sort of had some hope, Malibu. The Inevitable's favourite, it was plain first up, albeit in the new market, and it wanted to lay in. Sometimes it's a sign that there's got an issue. They've given it 49 days off. It won down the straight first up over this trip. returning 61. Then it went to Moonee Valley and absolutely walked in, returned 63.5, and then it returned 62. I've rated it 62. Those wins was sort of Michael Poy, Craig Williams, Nashua Willer. Goes to Talia Hope.
I saw she's got on, so she's claiming 2, I think.
He claims 2. So I've sort of taken something off for her and got it 9-2 favourite. So I was surprised it was so short in the market. Malibu Style, it's got a good it's run well down the straight. You can see in the previous prep last year, it was sort of around a 61 horse. It resumed on a heavy track first up, and then the other day, it sort of was fair, but they did go hard. It was up on the speed. It was a race where it sort of inverted, and as we sort of talked about on the review podcast, and the horses that were 16th in the run, the 11th in the run, ran 1-2. So it was a race for the back markers, and it was up the front. So you sort of could forgive it there. So I sort of put it in, a couple of X under what it was doing last year. All 2 Royals been going consistently. On my figures, he's sort of 59.5, 60. His first up here, he's a terrific fresh horse. You can see he won his maiden, first up at Bairnsdale. He resumed off 400-day break, won first up at Chuka. He won first up at Ramwick last August, and then off 88 days, he won first up on Boxing Day in the Christmas Handicap. So he's definitely a fresh horse. He has run well down the straight before, so I sort of put him in his figure. And Esperance, he's sort of consistent horse as well. He's had sort of 126 days off. He sort of did return 58 down the straight. So I've sort of rated him up to sort of basically what he can do. So I can't get him any shorter than that. And it leaves me with I've got a lot of horses sort of in the 20 to 1, 22 to 1, $23 mark.
Yep.
And that sort of just takes up a bit of the percentage. So Milwaukee's failed first up. It's got, overall it's had a really good record previously down the straight. Our Gladiators had a freshen up, slight freshen up for a month. It's more a 9.55 horse, but it's going to race up on the pace on a 1,000-metre race. Prezado is in now, but it's got some hope at big odds. So there's a lot of horses just taking up little bits of the percentage of the market, which just we see the favourites are just a bit short. So it'll be a race. We'll sort of just see what sort of happens and whether the favourites drift or the favourites tighten, and we can sort of bet around them. So it'll just be a race to wait and see what happens.
No worries. And the last of the day is the Les Carline over 1,700 metres. With Top Sport at the moment, Rupture, $4.40 favourite for Paul Pruska from Dar Duzard at $5. Kentucky Breeze 6, Masculino 8, and Super Titus at 9. How's your market look?
Dar Duzard is an overseas horse. Having its first start, and it's actually first emergency. So at the moment, I've just left it out of the market.
Okay.
If it gets a run, I'll sort of get a time form. I have a time form rating. I can sort of get some sort of thing. Generally, I just sort of put them in around around the market. It's just a bit hard to tell what to do with them. The market seems to know whether they're fancied or not.
Yep.
But on sort of the market before, I've got Rupture favourite.
Okay.
It was terrific first up at Warwick Nabil. He might be looking for further, but it was just strong and comes here in $100,000 race. So I thought he'd probably still have him fresh enough for it. Some other horse in the race, Kentucky Breeze, it won the other day. Probably looked like it might have needed one more, but the speed was on. It was suited. He could probably improve off that again slightly. Serenka Bad looked like it was home for all money until Kentucky Breeze sort of ran it down the last bit. Not sure if it's that genuine, but it's got sort of some hope. Super Titus is third up now. Should be getting nice and fit. Mascalino was heavily backed first up. Probably wasn't quite suited. Was well beaten. I think probably it would need one more run. I think it's sort of under the odds at the moment. And Hangman, he'll get back, but he sort of goes good fresh. He wasn't suited first up. He did run home nicely, even though well beaten. And stepping out to 1700 second up, you can see he did run well second up last time in. Only beaten one length behind Mosh Music in a race at Flemington.
Yeah, so Hangman $12 on Top Sport at the moment.
Yeah, so I think he's sort of some sort of value. So at the moment, sort of Rupture's around what price I've got it. I've got a couple others sort of, and then Hangman's sort of roughly what odds I've got it. Super Tires is roughly what odds I've got it. Serenka Bad's a bit longer than what I've got it. Kentucky Breeze is, sorry, a bit shorter. Kentucky Breeze is slightly shorter as well. And Debt Collector, I've got a bit long on the market. It gets a long way back. It'll just depend sort of what happens with, data set, because at the moment it's $5. So, if I put it in the market and then change my market to, that percentage, I'm still going to have it in at, $6.50 or something like that, which is sort of taken up 16%. So that'll sort of push the market out. But at the moment, I'd like to be on Rupture, and I'd like to maybe be on Kentucky Breeze, and and then sort of see what happens with Super Titus and Hangman. But to race, I sort of wouldn't mind betting in if I could.
Yeah, so it looks like there's a few races where you'll have a bit of value. So just on the track, have a look at it tomorrow.
I'll have someone looking at it tomorrow. Actually, someone might be looking at it now, so I'll probably get a Thursday afternoon, so I get a report. I'm not expecting anything. They haven't raced for a couple of weeks. The rail's in the true.
Yeah.
They do a fantastic job there. We haven't had any significant rain, so I just assume they'll just have it. It'll be, virtually a good 3 in the morning, and it'll just go graded sometimes. So, pretty much generally it's just a tempo sort of races. The bias is just sort of tempo related. So
good stuff. All right, well, sounds good. As I said, we'll look forward to your bets and your rated markets on Saturday morning, and hopefully find ourselves a few winners.
Great, thanks, Mark.
Thanks.